Today we are going to discuss about the programming in C. It is the syllabus of Osmania University for BSc and then BCom students. First we know what is the C language. The C language is one of the programming language. It is useful to write the code, and here using the compilers, the machine level language can convert into the user level language, and the user level language can convert into the machine level language by using the compilers. Here we are having some important topics in C language for the examination purpose, and the main three topics we are going to discuss now. First is the data types, and then second one operators, and then third one control statements. Data types. The data types are three types. Actually, before knowing about the data types, in general topic, what is the mean by data types? What is the mean by data types? Today, nowadays, we are all using the mobiles, right? Which type of data we are going to sending and receiving, means for communication, which type of data we are using? One is the text type of data, means messages, and one is the images, right? And one more is the videos, and one more is the audios. It is the general topic, how types of the data, text type, and then video type, and audio type, and images, animations, like that, right? Here also in C language, now we are discussing about C language. The C language also having the data types, three types of data types. Those are primary data types, derived data types, and user defined data types. First we are going to discuss about the primary data types. Before knowing about the primary data types, first we have to know the text type of data type and a numeric type of data type. Text type and a numeric type of data type. First come to the point of the numeric data type. Numeric data type. We know very well in mathematics we are having the mainly two types of numerics are there. One is the decimal values and another one is the whole numbers. Decimal numbers and whole numbers. Come to the point here that complete value, which one having the complete value? That complete value is called the integer values. And which one having the decimal? Those all are called the float. Now, I give some example for the integer. What I said, the integer definition, whole numbers. What is the mean by whole numbers? It cannot contain any decimal value. We are having so many examples. Whatever the whole numbers, those all are called the integers. Some examples are 80, and then 180, and 2000, like this. Which one having the whole number? Those are all called the integers. Now come to the point of the float. The float is nothing but it is the decimal value. And we know very well what are the decimal values we are having. Which number having the decimal? Means 80.6. Now it contains the decimal. And 5.9. 8.9, like this. I hope you got what is the integer and what is the float. The integer is nothing but it is the whole number. The float, it is the decimal value. Here, first we have to know the integer can allow the float values or not. The integer cannot allow the float values. What's the reason means? Here I give you a practical example to you. The float value. What is the float value? I given the example 80.6. First, suppose do you want to convert this float value into the integer? You have to change the value of 80.6. How you can change? First, suppose do you want to give this value as the integer, you have to write it is as the 80 or 81, right? First, suppose if you want to write it is the 80, you have to reduce the value is 0.6. You have to minus. The value is of minus 0.6. If you want to write the 81 as the integer value, what you can do? You have to increase the value 0.4, right? Because of that, the float values are not converted into the integer values. Float values are not converted into the integer values. But the integer values can convert into the float. Let us see how it will be. What is the integer value here? 80 is the integer value. It is the integer value. How can I convert the integer value into the decimal, means a float, by using the 80.00? There is any value change? No. Because of that, the float values, the integer values can convert into the float in an easy manner. Why? Because here I done any value change? No, just I kept 80.00. This is the same to, this is the equal to 80. But here, the float, what is the float value? 80.6. 80.6 is equal to the 80? No. Or 80.6 is equal to the 81? No. Because of that, here the concept is the float values cannot convert into the integer. But the integer values can convert into the float values. How just now I said, the integer, take one example of the integer and you can convert into the float, it having the value change. Okay. Next, come to the point of the, just now I discussed about the integer and the float. The next one is the character. First, here I discussed about the only numeric part. What is the numeric part? We are having integer and float. Now we are going to discuss about the character data type. Here, the character data type is nothing but it is the text type of data type. But here we are having a definition for the character. The character is nothing but it is a single numeric, single digit or single alphabet or single special symbol. I hope all of you know what are the special symbols, what are the alphabets, what are the digits. We know very well what are the digits we are having 0 to 9. What are the alphabets we are having? A to Z. What are the special symbols we are having? Dot, question mark, comma and then hash symbol equal to @ these all are the special symbols. Now what is the definition of the character? The character is a single digit. Know this word, a single digit or a single alphabet or a single special symbol enclosed with the single quotation. It is called the character. Now I am going to give an example about the character. That is, I said a single digit. What are the, how many digits we are having? 10 digits, 0 to 9. Pick only one digit. I am getting the value 8. Now, this is the example for the character. And one more example from A to Z. Now I am taking the value is the V. Now it is the character example. And then any special symbol, dot. Now it is the character. I hope you understood what is the character. Character is nothing but it is a single digit or a single alphabet or a single special symbol enclosed with the single quotation. It is called the character. What is the example? The 8 is the example and V is the example and a dot is the example for the character. And now I want to discuss about the string also. Why? Because the character having only single digit or alphabet or a special symbol. But in our daily routines, we don't have use any single digit or any single alphabet or any single special symbol. Why? Because if you want to say your phone number, it having any single digit? No. If you want to say your name, it having only single alphabet? No. If you want to write something, it having a single? No. Because of that, they introduced or they developed the language and they introduced the strings. They introduced the strings in the C language only. Strings in the C language. What is the mean by string? Here, the group of characters. The group of characters is called the string. The group of characters is called the string. What are the group of characters I given there? 8, V and then dot. Right? 8, V and then dot. Now, I want to write that group of characters as a string. That is, what is the first character? 8. Next character V and the next character dot. This is the group of characters enclosed by the double quotations. Enclosed by the double quotations. Now it is called the string. Now it is called the string. First, suppose do you want to write your name? How can you write your name? First, suppose it's my name. My name is, first suppose, Vasavi. Now it having the group of characters. All characters are from the alphabets. All characters are from the alphabets. It can be enclosed with the double quotations. Now it is called the string. Okay. First, suppose do you want to write this string as the characters? How can we write V, A, S, A, and then V, and then I. It is very difficult to write each and every time. But first, suppose do you want to write the hello world dot, hello world. How can you write using the character H, E, L, L, O? It takes more time and it takes a number of lines to execute. Because of that, they introduce the strings. What is the mean by string? The group of characters enclosed with double quotations is called the string. Okay, this is about the primary data types of float, integer, character. And the next one is the Boolean and then void. Boolean and void. Now, we are going to discuss about the void. Actually, the void is nothing but it is one type of the return type of data type. It cannot send any value to the main function, but it is called the return type of value. But it is called the return type of value. How it will be means, for example, if we are going to use the functions, in that functions we are using more than one function. More than one functions. That time the function program needs a return value. That function program needs a return value. To reduce or to overcome the prototype of errors or return type of errors, we are using the void data type. We are using the void data type. The keyword we are using is the void. The keyword we are using is the void. The next one is the Boolean. The Boolean is one of the primary data type. It is used in the only two binary systems. What are the binary system we are having? 0 and then 1. 0 is takes as the false, and then 1 is takes as the true. 1 is takes as the true. This Boolean data type is useful for the machine. Okay. Now, in the primary data types, what we discussed? Integer, float, character, void, and then Boolean. Here, the first integer, float, and then character. Here, we have to know some integer, float, and then character. Here, how to use these integer, float, and characters in C programming. Before using these integer, float, and characters in our programming language, you have to know about the variable. What is the mean by variable? Actually, the variable is nothing but it is a name. It is a name given to the memory location. It is a name given to the memory location. For example, in a street, this is the general human example. In a street, we are staying somewhere in some house, in one house. That house having the address or not? Yes, it having the address, and that address having a particular name. That address having their particular name, street name, area, and a door number. These all are called the address of that house. Address of that house. Here also to store the data. Here also to store the data, we need some space. You need the space, and that space is also having the name. That name is nothing but the variables. That name is nothing but the variables. For example, this is the memory space. This is the memory space. Here I am giving a name. That name is A. For suppose I gave a name, that name is A for this particular space. For this particular space. Now the A is called the variable. Why? Because the variable is nothing but it is a name. Yes, it is a name. What is the name? A. And that name is giving to whom? To the memory location. Yes, this is the memory location, entire memory location. In that memory location, for a particular memory location, we are giving a name, that is the variable. That is the variable. Here, how we can write the variables? Means it is the syntax of the variable. The syntax of the variable is nothing but first you have to write the data type. Syntax, data type. Any valid C language data types you can write as the data type. And then next you can give the space, later variable name and semicolon. Variable name and a semicolon. Here the data types. Just now I discussed about the data types: integer, float, and then character. I am giving the first example using the integer. What is the keyword we are using for the integer? Int keyword. What is the keyword we are using? Int keyword. Int. The data type is the int. This is the example. And then what is the variable name? You can give any variable name. Now I am giving the variable name is the student. Semicolon. And the second example is I am using the float data type, float, and then marks. Marks is the variable name. The third one, character. For character we are using the keyword char, and then name. Okay, you understood what I gave the variables? Three types of variables I declared here by using the different data types: integer, float, and then character. Int, student. Int, float, marks, character, name. Now how many variables we are having? Three variables. What are those three? What are those variables are? First one is the student. Second one is the marks, and then third one is the name. Now these three are the same data types? No, these three are the different data types. We know what is the student? It is the integer data type. What is the marks? It is the float data type. What is the name? It is in the character data type. Now this student having only integer value. It is having only the value of the integer. For example, if you want to give a value to the integer student, how can you give? Is equal to 50. Is equal to 50. Now what is the variable name here? Student. What is the value of the variable? 50. What is the value of the variable? It is the 50. Next, float, marks. How we can give the marks here? Using the assignment operator. It is called the assignment operator. In later topic we discuss about the assignment operator. Marks is equal to, for example, it is in the float. Float means 90.5. Semicolon. Now what is the value of the marks variable? 90.5. Next, char, name. We know very well what is a character. Character is nothing but it is a single alphabet or a single digit or a single special symbol enclosed with a single quotation. Is equal to, you can give the V. Now what is the value of the name character? V. Okay, these all are the values for the variables, for those variables. How we gave the values to the variable? Depending on the data type. Depending on the data type. For example, if you don't know about the integer, float or character, how can you give the values? Maybe if you can give the values as the wrong values. Why? Because you don't know the concept of the integer, float and character. For example, here I given the 50.5. It is the right value for the integer? No. Why? Because the integer is nothing but it is the whole number. It is the whole number. Whole number means it having the complete number. Because of that I given as the 50. Float means it needs a decimal value. Because of that I given the 90.5. Character, we know character takes only single alphabet or digit or a special symbol. Because of that I wrote the V. Now you understood. Now in depth we have to know this integer and float and character, it occupies how much of space in the memory? How much of space in the memory? For example, what I said, the home and example, that is in a street we are having a house. It having the how many? It occupies how much of the space? We know very well, right? Like that only here, these variables also occupies the some space, particular space that is designed by the C program. And here the integer variable occupies 2 bytes of memory, general integer, 2 bytes of memory. And the float, it occupies 4 bytes of memory. And character, it occupies 1 byte of memory. 1 byte of memory. Means here the first student occupies how much space now? 2 bytes. And then second, marks occupies how much bytes? 4 bytes. And the character occupies how much bytes? 1 byte. Now, the total memory space for these three variables are 2 plus 4 plus 1. Okay, this is about the primary data types, main data types, integer, float and then character. And here I want to give a point or note about the integer, that is the integer takes the positive values as well as negative values. Positive values as well as negative values. In integer, it takes the positive values as well as integer values, and it having the short integer, long integer, short unsigned integer, short signed integer, and then long unsigned integer, long signed integer. These all are the different types of the integers. The normal integer occupies 2 bytes of memory. And this is short, whatever we are having the short integers, these two are occupies the 2 bytes of memory only. And then the long integer occupies 4 bytes of memory, and then long unsigned signed is also occupies the 4 bytes of memory. Here we are having so many types of integers, but we can categorize only 2 types. One is depending on the size and depending on the sign. Depending on the size and then depending on the sign. What is the signs we are using in the mathematics? Minus and then plus. Positive values, negative values. Positive values and negative values. Right here, the unsigned integer and then signed integer. We know which one having the positive and negative. That is called the signed integer. That is called the signed integer. Which one having only positive values? Only positive values. That is called the unsigned integer. And depending on the size, it is in the 2 types. That is, one is the short integer and another one is the long integer. Short integer occupies always 2 bytes of memory. Long integer occupies 4 bytes of memory. Short unsigned means it having only positive values. Short signed means it having the positive values as well as negative values. Okay, and the short is always occupies the 2 bytes of memory. Next, long. Long integer occupies 4 bytes of memory and long unsigned integer, long signed integer. The signed integer having the both values positive as well as negative values. And then long unsigned it having only positive values. Okay, that is about the integers. Next, we are going to discuss about our next data type, that is derived data types.